Hey, what's up? My name is Ryan.
Hey, and my name's Chris.
Chris, I have something very important to tell you.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
I have more trophies than you. Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of a new podcast between myself and my friend Chris here called I Have More Trophies Than You. This is a podcast all about the different ways that we play video games. You know, playing them for fun versus playing them for a reason. And we just want to talk about video games and have some fun.
Yes, I'm
here
excited
to have fun. I'm very excited. I hope that everyone likes us and has a great time. You know, for people who don't know who we are, maybe we should introduce ourselves a little bit.
Absolutely.
My name's Ryan. You might know me as Dr. Ryan. I'm a chiropractor from Southern Oregon, and I love video games. I've been playing video games since I was like 5 years old. I can remember Christmas when I was 5. My parents got me an NES because my grandpa told him it was a great fun toy to play because my grandpa loved playing the NES. We would play it together, and I mean, it's been nothing but video games ever since. What about you?
Yeah, very, very similar. Like, my name is Chris. You might know me by Blaze or Budezu. I stream on Twitch occasionally, and I'm also a moderator for the Big Dogs Discord. That's Frank Callie, Brian Abachakra, and Audrey Menard's amazing Discord. So you've probably seen me around if you see me in there. But yeah, I'm a huge gamer. I everything I do revolves around gaming. I make board games. I play video games, like and honestly my earliest memory of gaming is I remember it was a Christmas morning. We would go to my cousin's house, and I just remember my dad and my uncle being really excited for the NES, and they were playing like golf and stuff on it. And then I remember Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy, being played, and that's like my first. That's probably why I like Final Fantasy so much. But like, you'll get that eventually.
I get it. My grandpa, the games that he had that I was watching play were the Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3, Legend of Zelda, and Final Fantasy. But I think somewhere in our paths, the way that we play games, apparently it diverged because Chris, you love playing games for fun. You really get into them. And I play games for a purpose. And that purpose right now for the last couple of years has been very simple. And that is the PSN trophy system.
Ryan, I hate to tell you this, but this is your intervention.
Oh, no. No, I don't know, man. Like, I was always a completionist, like, even before. So, before the 360 and the advent of achievements, like, back in the day, if a game had 100%, I wanted to try to get everything. I wanted to get every collectible. I wanted to do everything. You know, with Nintendo, they were really big on that, too. I wanted the 100% next to my Super Mario 64 save. I wanted every heart piece I could get in Zelda. You know, it's just always been that kind of thing of like, when I'm playing a game, it's like, yes, I want to play a game for fun, but I look at it as a game as like, this is a checklist of things to do, and I want to do all of them. And then once the fucking 360 came, I'm sorry, wait, live talk for you guys. We haven't talked about this. Do we want to swear? Do we want to swear on this podcast?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, like, leave this in.
Hell yeah.
I want people to. We're growing as a podcast if this takes off. So yeah, you know, this is a whole collection of everyone listening. So
it's all baby steps for us, and you are along for the ride. So buckle in, get ready. We're about to drive this car off a cliff, and it's going to be a fun ride.
So I guess, yeah, there we go. So swearing, I did get to say the first swear of the podcast. Would you like to say a swear now too?
I would like to say, fuck.
Okay, great. Oh. What the fuck was I talking? Oh yeah,
you were talking achievements, the advent of the Xbox.
When the 360 came out, and all of a sudden it's like we have this thing called the trophy or the achievement system. I was like, that's weird. So it's like you can do your completion things, but there's an overall score, and I got hooked. I was big into it for those first couple years, and I had almost 100,000 achievement points before I lost my Xbox account to some Russian hackers. And that kind of put me off it for a while. But like, even then, I was a big WoW player. And when they put in their achievement system, that's basically what I started playing specifically for. It's like, yeah, you can do raids, you can do this, or you can do all this weird side shit and get all of these achievements. And I was pretty high up on my server and in the world on that too. It's just like, I love the meta game of collecting all of these trophies, making the numbers go up, and being on a leaderboard. That's what's fun for me.
it's fascinating to me that you use the term metagame for it, because it's like, it is a game in its own sense. It is a ranking. It is a like rating system that you're ever climbing on. And I find that fascinating because like I'm a trading card game player. Like I'm a big, like somebody who analyzes metagames for like trading cards all the time. So for me, it's like, it's something that I just don't think about, right? Like I don't think about like that being an aspect to video games as much. Because there are definitely some games I'll do the checklist, you know, I'll try to do everything I can. But there is definitely a time with almost every video game that I feel it's like, oh, this is the time to move on. Like, and then it's like, there's too much. And I guess I get inundated with like how many games there are. And I'm just like, oh, I just need to kind of keep playing a little bit of everything to move through it all eventually. But it's fascinating to watch it, like every week, like when you stream and it's the platinum report. That stuff's so cool to me. I find it interesting to just see it like, oh, hey, this is what I'm doing to climb up the ladder. And that's like what I'm really excited to just kind of like pick your brain a little bit more as we like continue through this podcast, because I find it so fascinating and interesting to think of it as like, I'm climbing the ladder. I'm doing like my part. You are playing against other people at all times. Doesn't matter what game you're playing.
It really is like the game. I've said this before, and people always laugh, but they've gamified gaming.
Yeah, it's exactly what the achievement system is, though, right? Yeah,
100%. They've turned playing games into a game onto its own, and I love that. My favorite game is the game of playing video games.
Like, I remember when the Xbox hit and the 360, especially with the achievement system, because I honestly, I wanted, you know, a big gamer score just so that I could like flex my like gamer boner over everyone or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But like, there was definitely a point where I think I was playing that Avatar game that got me like 1,000 in the first 5 minutes.
Are you talking about Avatar, the Last Airbender? Sorry, Avatar, the Last and I can't fucking talk. Hold on. Avatar, the Last Airbender, the Burning Earth, which I have all of the achievement points for because it took about 40 seconds.
Yeah, it was just you get into the game and you just like spam X and then you got it.
Yep, you just spam X. That game was one of the very first, that was the first easy game. Like,
right
at the beginning of the achievement era, there were games that were easier. They're like, hey, you could play these kids games and it'd take like 6 to 8 hours. It was still a full-fledged game. That was the first game where they straight up just and people would play it just for the achievements, and it became the running joke. It's like, oh, you're not an achievement hunter if you don't have Avatar the Burning Earth. Side note, funny story that came out a couple years ago about that. That game was supposed to have a full achievement system, supposed to be play the full game, all that stuff. Oh. And apparently, I heard of this on the Giant Bombcast. The person who did the achievement coding for that game wrote in and said that there was some error that broke the game with those at one point. They just ripped them all in and put that in as a just get this out the fucking door. Who cares? It's achievements.
Oh gosh.
So, yeah, and then once that happened, it was like games realized, oh, if we just make easy trophies or achievements, people will buy shit. And then that's how we've gotten to the Armageddon of shit-ass games that we're in now that we can talk about in the coming weeks as we go over this. But
because, see, I think that's another, like, one of those divergent points for us. Because it's like, for me, I think that was one of the first times where I was like, why? Like, because I rented it. I
also rented it,
but like at the same time, I was like, "Oh man, I totally could have rented like any other number of good games instead of this game that I literally played for 5 minutes just to get the 1,000 achievement points and then turned it off and threw it into its box." Like,
see, but I think that this also is a great side note to a personal goal I have for this podcast. That game was the first game I rented with if anyone remembers, the Blockbuster Game Pass.
Oh.
30 days, you could rent as many games as you wanted. You could just bring them back. Trade them out as much as you wanted. And so for achievement hunters, that thing was a godsend because you could rent any shitty game and go back. That has led to, and here's my side goal for the podcast. I am still one of the very few people that uses GameFly. And my goal for this podcast is I want to get us sponsored by GameFly.
Dude, if we get GameFly, hit us up. Go
GameFly. I am a three discs out, 3 games out holder of your wonderful service. It's great for so many bad games that I get easy platinums on. I just did all of the Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero ones. I got Life is Strange 2 came in the other day, and I got some, I forget what else is coming in. I got some easy games coming in soon. Can't wait.
Yo, but actually, like, shout out to Gamefly for selling like affordable, cheap used games, unlike GameStop.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
That's what blows me. I swear, once a week I'll see like cheap ass gamer just, hey, Gamefly is doing an insane sale right now, and it's like, oh, I guess I'll check it out because maybe there's something I actually kind of want. Like,
cheap ass gamer. Also, we are in no way sponsored monetarily, but I am going to say that we are going to endorse cheap ass gamer as 100. Much as humanly possible on this podcast. 100%. Okay, well, you know, and there's more we can talk about on that, but I feel like this is a journey. Right. This is we can get to that and we can decide topics. Let's talk about what this podcast is. Yes. This podcast is you and I having a discussion once every other week. We're going to do bi-weekly, and it's going to be about a little bit about what we've been playing recently and why. And also every episode is going to have a main game that we talk about. This is going to be a game that, you know, maybe it has trophies, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we talk about an old game and we talk about the difference about how you play it for fun versus playing it as a completionist. Mm-hmm. So that way we're not just limited to only talking about PlayStation games.
Yeah.
And we are talking about a PlayStation game the first time, though. But what were we going to say?
Exactly. I was saying it is definitely this whole show. As you go with us, you like the main focus will always be the differences in how people play games. That is like the motto of this show is to make you think like differently about how maybe you've even played the game and experienced. Because I would absolutely love to hear if you've played the game. It'll definitely be like in the episode, like the little text, be like episode 1, this game. I would love to hear how you played it. Were you a completionist in it? Because there's plenty of games where I will feel that need. And honestly, I don't want to bury the lead, but I'm kind of feeling it on this one just a little bit. But like, yeah, I want to know, like, were you somebody that just wanted to get through it? Were there other games on your list? Like, let's know, like, let's have that conversation. You are a part of the conversation, even though it may be through comments or whatever. We're definitely even going to bring in guests eventually and talk to them and their experiences with the video games. So it's going to be fun. The journey of this is going to be a blast, and I can't wait to see the discussions that come out of it in the future.
I will say the secondary goal of this podcast is to subtly turn you into a trophy hunter.
And then the tertiary goal is to get Gamefly on our radar.
Well, no, that's the
be
primary
on their
goal.
radar. There we go.
That's the primary goal.
So
just
we'll move
Gamefly
the rest of them
us.
down one. There we go. Okay. Gamefly,
no,
I'm looking for you.
Gamefly, hit me up. Like, just we want to rep you. Okay. Yeah. So with that, I think that we'll talk about this episode's game is a game that came out recently. You picked this game.
I did.
Chris. Do you want to intro this game? And I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the story. We'll talk, about playing it, and then we'll get into the real discussion of the differences of how we played it. So what is the game? Even though it's the episode title and everybody already knows, what game are we talking about this episode?
We are talking about Jedi Fallen Order. Like, I'm excited for this. Like, I'm playing through this game right now even, and I am fascinated with it. I'm a little taken back with it. I'm all over the place on this game.
Wait, have you not finished this game yet?
No, I have. I've watched like 4 Let's Plays of it, and like it's to that point where like while I'm playing the game, I'm like, God, I know the story. I don't want to watch cutscenes. Please let me skip your cutscenes. And it is nope. It is you are sitting here for however long we need to talk this dialogue out. So
it's so good dialogue. Now that's an interesting.
It is good.
Here's an interesting divergent point already, talking about the way that we differently play games and enjoy media. You watch other people play this game.
I did, because I don't know how. We've had small conversations, but like, how big of a Star Wars fan are you? Because for me, it's like it's been hurt, so that's why I've kind of watched other people play this game.
Listen, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Disney movies, but I'm still a big Star Wars fan, and this game was one of my favorite games of 2019.
Yeah.
So the idea of, just in general, the idea of if I want to play a game, watching someone else play it instead of playing it myself, also alien to me. I am not someone that usually likes to watch other people play video games. Most of the things that I watch on Twitch are either my friends, so it's like I'm watching my friends, or I'm watching things that aren't video games. Because if I want to play a video game, I'll just play a video game.
Right. Like, for me, it like I was always kind of that field. Like I've watched Let's Plays and like I do consume them frequently. But it's weird. I always like, you know, I grew up watching like Game Grumps and stuff like that. And then, you know, throughout the years, it kind of wades and then I'll come back and watch a little bit more. But I think when I was living in Japan, it like for me, Let's Plays were my way of listening to English every day. Like that was what I did was I could watch somebody play a game while I'm doing work or doing other things. And it was nice to just hear an English conversation because for those years while I lived there, predominantly spoke Japanese with my friends there, and then of course, you know, I speak English, but even with my wife, like it would be mixed. Like, you know, she's fully American, but like we would do that to, you know, get better at the language and whatnot. So like I really got into Let's Plays then, and you know, it stuck from there. So like whenever this game came out, everyone was playing it because it's kind of Soulsy, I guess, if you know, if you can call it that. But like
I would definitely call this inspired by the Dark Souls genre.
But would
we'll get into that when we talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do you want to just get right into it?
We can. I was gonna say. Would you call it a Souls-like? Or would you? Because I think it is inspired, but I think there is definitely a point in the game where it is no longer a Souls-like. I think there are aspects of it, but
I would call it more of a 3D Metroidvania with the Dark Souls resetting mechanic. But I wouldn't call it a Dark Souls-like. I'm making if you guys can hear my fingers, I'm making quotation marks. But before let's put a pause on that. We'll get to that. I want to really quickly just for the people at home, maybe who haven't played it, I just want to give a quick summary of the game.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. It's me, Chris, from the future, but it's technically the past now. Whatever. It doesn't matter. What does matter is I'm about to spoil something. Right now in this episode, I'm going to spoil how Jedi Fallen Order ends. If you do not want to be spoiled, this is your time to exit. Also, I just want to let everyone know that there is going to be a conversation about this and about... man, the clock's really ticking. I can't tell you. But it's about to happen. Don't worry about it. What you need to know is that spoilers are coming. There are spoilers going to be for the show. When we talk about a game, it'll be in the description and it will be the title of the episode. If there's a game you don't want to be spoiled on, I would say play that game and then come back and listen to this episode, especially when you're fresh on it. That would be awesome just to be like, man, I just played this game. Oh no, I can't, guys, they're coming for me and I can't say anymore. Just know that spoilers are going to be in every episode, or at least every episode.
So, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, made by EA, came out in 2019. It is a action-adventure game, third-person, melee-based game about you as Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan, who was cut off from everybody during the end of Revenge of the Sith, if you don't know Star Wars.
Order 66.
When all the Order 66, you actually get to see Order... Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Heavy spoilers for this game, by the way. Heavy spoilers. In it.
Oh wait.
Okay, well there you go. So yeah, it's
if you're looking for spoiler free, I'll actually do. I'll do a little bit more editing. I'll jump in and say, hey, skip like the next 5 minutes or so. Don't worry about it. But like, if you are worried about spoilers, you also did have like 3 years to play this game. So jump on, play the game. It's cool.
It's 2020, not even 2. This game came out in November 2021.
Oh my God, it really did. Okay. Well, you have.
November 2019. Yeah, but okay. As a side note, this whole podcast is probably going to be free spoilers going around because we are talking about playing the games and all of them. So we are going to be talking about kind of everything. But the game is basically a journey of a Jedi Padawan, Cal Kestis, who was his master was killed during Order 66. He escaped and he's been living on the run But then, it's Star Wars, so everything comes back to get him, and it's his journey through the galaxy trying to find what was it? It was a holocron with all of the younglings that are force sensitive on it before the evil Inquisitors, who, if you don't know about Star Wars, the way that they, for their extended universe, their Disney stuff, so they could still have the Jedis go against other Sith, even though there's none left. They're like, oh, there's still some Sith left, but they're called Inquisitors. They're not actually Sith or Jedis. Whatever. It's more Jedi versus Sith shit. But it's a journey through the galaxy as he tries to rescue some kids from Darth Vader, basically.
Right. And actually, that you bring up that the MacGuffin of this whole game, just finding the holocron with like younglings, force sensitive ones, and where they are. I think that's if I have to complain about the story, that is just my biggest gripe. Is just, I think I'm kind of tired of Order 66. I think I'm kind of tired of like this, like, oh man, we've killed all the Jedis except for like the 500 that are still out there, and like
except for this one,
except for this one, it's
that's the same problem with like any show like that. Like Superman does that. The Last Son of Krypton. Oh no, there's Terrazorel. General Zod's back.
Yeah, the Saiyans in Dragon Ball. There's more.
Yeah,
like
Goku, and then Vegeta, and then Nappa, and then Broly, and then Raditz, and then so like it. That is I wouldn't blame that on Star Wars. I would say that's just an unfortunate side effect of an unfortunate trope of I'm the last of this kind. There's always going to be more.
Yeah.
And oh no, there was another one you didn't know. So
I think
I wouldn't blame Star Wars for that.
I don't think I'd blame Star Wars for it. I think my only thing is that I think there's a lot of cool things about Star Wars. Because again, going back to what we were kind of talking about earlier, I don't know how big of a Star Wars fan I am anymore. I think I really like the property. I really like a lot about it. But like, yeah, I really didn't like the Disney movies that they've done. The shows have been pretty good.
Mandalorian is dope.
Batch. Yeah, Mandalorian. But like, I think that we're kind of focusing too much in that in between of like, whether it be in between Return of the Jedi to Force Awakens or Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope. I think that those kind of like small periods of time, I think those are like fine to explore, but like, if anything, it's more fun to explore the post Return of the Jedi, because I feel like we've done too much in between A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. I just feel like there could be other stories.
To be fair, that's all they had for a while, because it's not like you could do something post Return of the Jedi, because Disney was trying to make the new movie. So it's just like they're like, no, you can't fucking do that. We've got this going on. Yeah. So at least now that those movies are done, they have this.
Yeah, now we can kind of go there. Yeah.
But this is not a Star Wars podcast,
right? This is Fallen Order. Now, what are your what are your just general thoughts on this game? Like, how did it hit you when you said it was one of your favorite games of 2019?
It was one of my top 10 games of 2019. It was definitely in the top 5. My favorite game of the year is one we will definitely talk about on this podcast, because it's now one of my favorite games of all time, but we'll get to that in a later episode. Just you wait. What did I think about this game? So let's give a quick little talk about the gameplay. So like I said, it's a 3D Metroidvania, in that as you go through, Cal like remembers powers that he learned once ago, that he shut himself off from the Force. So you're getting that Metroidvania, like new powers means new ways to explore, means you can get to new areas. And the gameplay was a lot like Dark Souls, in that you had a bonfire area that if you sat there, you would reset the enemies. And the actual melee gameplay also was a lot like Dark Souls, because it was that one-on-one, the guys are there and you've got to kind of like bob and weave.
Right.
And you've got to dodge and parry. Yeah, you can parry your opponents. So it was a really good mix of the two. Problems with the gameplay. Just out of curiosity, we'll talk about this in other games where maybe trophies are based on difficulty. This one did not have a difficulty trophy. What difficulty did you play it on?
I just played it on normal. I wasn't looking for anything too much harder than that.
No. I tried it on hard for a second and was like, oh, this is fucking hard. And then I just went back down to normal.
Yeah. Like I thought about it because I was like, oh, it could be fun, but at the same time, I was just like, I've experienced the story, you know, a few times before. I was just like, yeah, let me just do casual and see how it goes. I was really enjoying the gameplay. I think that like my second trip to oh my gosh, Zephos? Zepho, yeah. I think that's when the gameplay started to turn for me because I started to feel overpowered there, and then when it kind of started to get more Metroidvania-y for me, where I was like, okay, like every 5 seconds I'd be looking at the map and be like, oh, I got to go to this door next, you know, because I haven't been through it yet and I can access it now. I think that's when I started to kind of feel that itch of like, I just need to progress. Like, I just kind of want to keep progressing and moving through this instead of trying to find every door. Because then I started to get lost. And
here we go. Here we go with our very first How the Difference in that we played games. One of the trophies for this game is 100% collection of not only all the secrets, but all of the chests.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got several collectible trophies in this game that we can talk about. Collect all chests and secrets, unlock all Jedi skills, complete all of the holo maps, which means so the map in this game is, I'm not usually a fan of like 3D maps. They do the thing where you have a little robot companion named BD1 who's just my favorite part of the game. Is this little bipedal robot that kind of moves around like a little animal. Super cool. But when he brings up a map,
he is the most charming part of the game, I will say.
He is very cool. Side note, talking about charming things in this game. This game came out right after they opened Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland.
Right.
And there is so much shit from that park in the game. It's like, I don't know if it was a subtle thing to go get you to buy the things at the park, or if it was just like Disney being like, no, these are how it is now. But it's like, you can customize your lightsaber in this game, and pretty much all of the customizable parts are the customizable parts when you build a lightsaber at Savvy's workshop.
That is probably my main focus for collecting the lightsabers in this game. Because
the holocrons in the game all look like the holocrons you can buy at the park. But the one that was so like, holy shit to me that I had to text my friend Rocco. If you guys don't know, Rocco of Mega 64, friend of mine, they use the same fucking sporks that they used to give you at the restaurant before they stopped doing them because everyone was stealing them. Like the fucking silverware when you're eating a meal in this game is the same as the stuff you can buy. Well, you have to buy it at the park now, but
yeah, I was like, gonna say they sell it now.
Yeah, they stopped. So they used to, when you get a meal, they would give you this really nice like Star Wars ass looking weird like spork, but everyone kept stealing them. It's really weird. On an entirely different note, I have one of those sporks. They're great. Not going to say how I got it. Anyway.
Proud paying customer here.
Oh yeah, you went to that. Not the podcast to talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, that honestly, going through it, that was kind of my biggest thing, is when I would be exploring the maps, I would be so bummed if I didn't get a lightsaber piece. And it was just more like, here's a thing you can, read if you want. And it's like, I'm here to play a game, not read text. Like,
I read it all, but it's like you had to find all that text. So what I was going to say when you were talking about, it's time to move on, I could not do that because if the map didn't say 100%, there are parts of the map you had to come back later for, of course.
Right.
But if there was a door or that said you could probably go through this, or part of the map that was still gray and I couldn't find, I would bang my head against it. And this is when the game first came out, so it was before it had all been mapped out like it is now. I still remember there is one of the secrets are these like echoes in the Force that you can find. Mm-hmm. There's one of them on the ice planet that is Zepho, right? Yeah, Zepho's the ice planet. In the big ice caves off to the side, below a ledge that you'll never go to unless you're specifically looking for it, is one of the last secrets I needed. And I ran around that damn fucking level for like 2 hours when it was the last thing I needed. Looking at message boards, everyone being like, has anyone fucking found this yet? Whatever. And it was finally someone else found it. It was just like, yeah, if you look over this ledge and down and to the right, there's a little ledge you can land on that has the last secret. And it was just like, who would ever think to look there?
Yeah, like what would possess somebody to like hide it there, right?
Yeah. that's gonna be another great thing about this podcast is me complaining about why did you do this to me, designer of this game? Why would you put that there? You did that to annoy me. I hate you for it.
Like, I don't know. I explore a lot in that game because it's fun to be in the Star Wars world, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think like on fucking Zepho, like I got so turned around and just like couldn't find my place like here and there. And then I'd look at the map and just be like, okay, I need to get back to the Mantis. Okay, so I have to go down this slide and then I got to go all the way over here and then I got to come over here. I think fast travel needs to be implemented in this game. Like if you sit down at one of those like meditation points, like I want to be able to just go to a different meditation point, kind of like Dark Souls uses. But like I understand when you said it's like more Metroidvania-y, I was like, oh my God, that makes more sense because there isn't fast travel in the game and you do have to backtrack a lot.
You have to that's the thing is so there are 4 planets in the game. Well, 5 if you count the last world, but you can't go back there. But there are 4 main maps in the game. You can go to the new planet, Zepho, which is like this was like an ice planet. Oh no, there's 5 because there's the tutorial world too, but I forget what that one's called. There's Dathomir, which is where like Darth Maul is from.
Yeah, classic Sith.
There's Kashyyyk, which is the Wookiee planet.
Actually, can we pause on Kashyyyk because those are not Wookiees. They are like malnutrition. They look really weird. They got like eels hanging out. They're so strange looking. Like
that's part of the game. Did you not realize that?
I maybe have forgotten it, but like again,
so like, the whole story of that planet is you going with Saul Guerrera, who's Forrest Whitaker from Rogue Squadron, Rogue One. And the idea is that the fucking Empire is there and they're enslaving all the Wookiees.
Right.
Those Wookiees all look like that because they are. Yeah, that's what they're malnourished.
That makes
sense. They're being
sense.
captured and they're being enslaved. Yeah,
but still, every time I saw them, I was just like, oh man, this looks so weird. Like it kind of took me out. But I guess like that makes sense if it's like, yeah, that's what they were going for. But like, oh man.
And then there's one other planet that's like the starting planet, but I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
it's like one little map. It's nothing. Oh, Bogano, that's what it's called. You can go to Bogano.
Everyone's favorite Star Wars place.
But basically, whenever you want to go to a planet, there's a landing pad for your ship, and then you're on this big map. Like it's in that Dark Souls kind of like continuous. Well, different worlds are bigger or smaller. Yeah. Like Kashyyyk is really fucking big because you can go on this big thing to go into the trees. Mm-hmm. But these maps are huge. The thing is, though, there's no fast travel back to your ship. If you're like, I'm done on this planet, you have to get back to your ship.
And sometimes that is like a lot of like, that's like 15 minutes of just backtracking to your ship.
The maps can be very, very confusing at some points. And it doesn't help that the 3D map, you'd think it's like, oh, it's a 3D map. It's easier to see. It sometimes layers on itself in a really weird way. You can't tell where exactly you are.
I think if you could hide the other layers and just be like, show me the floor I'm on, I think that would work just a little bit better and be less like troublesome to navigate. But yeah, the map kind of works against you in a lot of spots.
So basically the game is you go on a planet, you've got a task to do. It's usually get over here and find this or beat this boss, and it's a good amount combat, a good amount puzzles and traversal and exploration, and then you get to watch some stories. This whole game, I would say about, if you were trying to play it for fun, would you say about 15, 20 hours?
Yeah, I'd say probably about a 20-hour game. That's
you could probably do it even
15 in, but I'm doing a lot of exploring. So.
If you just wanted to mainline this game and just play it without really looking at stuff, you could probably beat this game in like 7 or 8 hours.
Right. But that's the thing. This game does that itch like thing because it puts so many collectibles right in front of you. And it's just like, oh, those vines are burnable. How? Okay. And then you're just like, all right, now I just got to find the lantern and try to figure out how to throw it at it. Like that is what this game does very well. The game entices you. It wants you to complete it.
It also did force power. There's only one game that came out in 2019 I think did force powers better than this game, even though that's not a Star Wars game. But this game did their force powers pretty good. It was fun to pull and push enemies. It was fun to launch them into the fucking sun, and it was fun to slice them in half.
I mean, it makes you feel powerful. which is great.
Yeah.
That is what you want a game, especially a Star Wars game, to do to you, is make you feel powerful. And it does a good job at it.
I know you're not 100% done with it, but let's talk about like the things I had to do that you probably didn't even do. So I want to go over some trophies and just say, hey, you know, did you do this? Did you spend time doing this? One of the more annoying trophies that took me so long just because it was finicky is, okay, so let's, for the audience at home who maybe aren't the biggest trophy people, there are different types of trophies. There's your story trophies. You usually just get those for doing something. You got your difficulty trophies. That's for like beating a game on different difficulties. You got your collectible trophies. And then you got what I call, you've got, of course, the dreaded multiplayer trophies, which I fucking hate. And then you've got what I call the miscellaneous trophies. That's for like doing a weird little task, you know, like kill somebody in a specific way with a specific thing. There is a trophy in this game that is just fucking annoying called kicking back. Does that sound familiar? Have you popped that? I know you're playing this on Game Pass. So you're getting achievements. But
oh, yes. And that one was really annoying. That one I actually like tried to do because I was just testing out like the little kick that you have.
So there's an enemy in this game which is basically like a big space elk. I don't know what else to call it. It's like a fucking, you know, it's a deer. It's a four-legged creature. So one of the things you have is the ability to just do a kick. It's a way to like break up if someone's doing an attack. What they want you to do is have one of these little elk dudes back kick you and then kick it right back. Right. It is so fucking finicky because most of the time these things don't even want to kick. They just kind of like, ooh, and they walk away. So you have to like, it's like following this little NPC, getting behind it, hoping it'll randomly kick and then kicking it back. The problem is it shoves you back far enough from the kick that it's like, oh, I got kicked. I got like a split second to kick it. Oh, I'm already out of range. You have to be kicking before it kicks, but not kick it until after it's kicked you.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I did that for like 45 minutes.
Oh. See that it's achievements like that where I'm just like, do I really want to commit 45 minutes to it? And that one I actually like, that one probably didn't take me too long because it was like I would give it about, you know, a minute or two to let it do it to me, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll run into another one of these eventually, you know. And then I would try it again there. But like with that one, I was lucky because I had just unlocked the kicking, and I think it just kind of like worked out for me. The one I had trouble with was the cutting the tongue of the Bogdo.
I was about to get to that one.
Yeah.
So there's what is that trophy called? It's called Cal Got Your Tongue. There's a enemy in this game with a big giant space frog. And so you have to let it hit you with its tongue attack and then slice its tongue off while you're still grabbed from it.
Right.
So you have to, but the thing is, you have to already have the pull power because when it hits, you have to dodge so it doesn't get you with its tongue, pull its tongue out, and then slice its tongue off.
Right.
That one was not too hard, but also who's going to do that unless you're specifically looking for it?
Right. That one I knew because from watching Let's Plays, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And like for the longest time, I was like, why can't I do this? And it's like, oh yeah, I need the pull power. And then like as soon as I got that, I was like, all right, I'm hunting down one of these dudes just to like do this. Because it continuing and just moving from trophy to trophy, I did the legendary beast already. Like the 4 random ones that you can fight, or the hard fights.
There's 4 boss monsters, like secret boss monsters on each planet,
right? That
are just bigger versions of some of them. Every planet has like bad guys, like stormtroopers, but it's also got wildlife bad guys. And so, like on the first planet, it's a big giant frog. Mm-hmm. There's one that's a big giant spider. There's one that's like a big giant rancor, and another one that's like another rancor, but this one's meaner.
That was like the achievement I wanted really bad. Like that one, I was like, I want to do the optional fights because honestly, that's where the most fun is in this game for me, is fighting the bosses. Although they feel very peppered in, like here and there. I feel that's where like the Dark Souls kind of does a little bit more. It's like everything is a boss. Like you're constantly running into boss fights. This is like, this is more
that Metroidvania where there's only specific boss fights and they're in specific rooms. Like on Kashyyyk, you'll be going through this factory where they're, having the Wookiees work for them, and then all of a sudden you'll walk out onto a big giant open like starport platform. It's like, what's going on here? And then an AT-AT just drops in, and there's a fucking health bar below it, and you're just like, oh shit.
That shit was so cool. Like the first time you find what was it? You find ATST like very early into the game, like the chicken walker one. That shit was so cool. Like I loved whenever I just walked in, they were like laying fire to the mantis, and then I'm like, oh, like, okay, we have to just get around it and go? And it's like, no, it turns around at you, and then it's just like, here's the big life bar at the top. This is your first like little encounter with it. Go. And it's like, oh shit. And then it's even cool because like they're gonna throw more of those later into the game, and they're just regular dudes for you. But it was a lot of fun. Like those like kind of big set pieces really worked out in this game, and that's what like on Kashyyyk, I think that was the one I had the most trouble finding that optional boss, because I'd keep stumbling into it. Like I would walk into it and just be like, oh, giant, and then it's like, here's the boss bar with the spider, and I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm not ready to fight this right now.
You know, it's
and then
funny,
I try to find it again, and it would take me 20 minutes.
On the first planet, the big giant frog, I found that within like the first hour of the game. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy. Oh, he's got a health bar. Maybe he's a little mini boss, and that thing one shot me, and I was like, I did about 4 more times. When I looked it up, I was like, I realized, oh, I'll come back to this.
Yeah. I cheesed it.
Of course,
because
I'm always for cheesing anything.
Because what you can do is there's holes on top of the arena that you would fight him in, and you can just jump down, backstab him, and then it'll take like a huge chunk out of life, and then you just beeline it to the exit, and then you just keep doing that loop over and over, and eventually he'll die. So
excellent. So I want to talk about maybe some other trophies here. You know, we've got one of the other big trophy sets that I always look at when I'm playing a game is the kill trophies, like kill 50 people with this weapon, do this. And so I don't know about you in other games, but when I'm given those, then it's like, okay, whatever game or play style I like is out the window. It's once I get a weapon, I stick with this until I hit that trophy, and even if it's my favorite weapon, I ditch it and I immediately move on to the next one, because I want to be as quick through this as possible. I don't want to have to go back and grind if I don't have to. And sometimes that makes it a little hard if I'm using an underdeveloped, not in this game so much, but if you're using an underdeveloped weapon in an area, but I need those, you know, those kills. But in this one, there were things like defeat 50 enemies with reflected blaster bolts, parry 100 times, defeat someone with only kicks, defeat 3 enemies using a single lightsaber throw. That one was a little hard. Defeat an enemy with their own slowed blaster bolts. That one was a lot of fun, actually. Power to catch blaster bolts in midair, and then what you would do is you'd slow them down, then force pull the guy through them and kill them with their own bolts. Defeat 20 enemies with explosives. Defeat an enemy with a hack droid. Precision evade 100 attacks. That one was very annoying. The precision timing on that in this game was pretty, like,
it's not.
They didn't give you a lot of wiggle room.
No, I think that's my biggest complaint in the early game, is because, and although as it may be a complaint, it's actually like, that was when I felt the most Souls-like for it, because I feel like the more powers you get, the more you have control over each battle that you get into. But early in, when you can't like slow down very well, or especially big enemies, you can't slow them down, that like timing precision, it is so small. That window is so tight, and it's unforgiving. Like, it is very unforgiving, but again, once you get throughout the game, it kind of gets easier. You get more used to it too. I would say that's kind of like the perfect timing, the parry 100 enemies. I feel like early in the game, that one seems daunting, but once you get the feel of like stormtroopers rushing you, you're like, I know exactly when to parry now. And then it just kind of like is secondhand to you.
No, I will say I do this sometimes in games, is I get really, like, when there's a trophy like that, I want to get it over with. I did this recently in we'll talk about another game, in Mass Effect 1, which we'll probably talk about in a future episode.
Oh, absolutely.
I played that for the first time. You have all these trophies for like, use this power 25 times, use it. And so it's like, you could just, if you want, use it as you go through the game, or you could be a psychopath like me, and you could sit at this little terminal in the Citadel and do it then reload your game so you don't have to wait for it to recharge, and do that 25 times with every power so you can just get them out of the way. And I'm going to say that in this game, there is a trophy. Where is it? The precision evade one, and where I just sat there with 2 enemies and precision evaded 100 times in a row so I could just get it over with.
Well, I don't blame the idea though for that, because like it makes it a little bit more like a controlled experiment for you, because I'm sure that the trophy isn't tracking that for you. So it's kind of like, well, if I just sit here and just do it over and over, I know I'm going to hit the 100. Whereas like if you are playing the game and you get to the end, you could be like, oh shoot, like how many times did I actually do this? Now I have to do it. And then it's kind of like just kind of holding the game onto you. Like you just have to like sit there after you've had all the glory of it and just kind of do this menial task. So I don't know if I necessarily disagree with the method you're using. It seems pretty smart.
What you're saying about like it doesn't track it for you, that is one of the things I'm so excited more for the PS5 about, is that trophy tracking thing, which I'll give Xbox credit. As much as I hate Xbox, I will give them credit. They've been doing that since the Xbox One. Is I wish more games had either a way to, so if it's like defeat 100 guys or do 200 of this, just give me a tracker. Let me know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Don't make me sit there and guess. I hate that. And so it's been nice with the PS5. In their trophy system now, it's like when you do something, that number does go up. And not every game uses it. All the Sony games are. And some of the third-party games, I think Sony's been like, you might want to use it, but they're not forcing anyone to. But I want that to be the standard. I want that to be the norm. The next time I play a game, it's like, hey, kill 300 people with the shotgun. Give me a running total. Let me know where I'm at.
That's something that I feel like should be standard, because for me, like with Final Fantasy 14, because I do get that itch every once in a while where I'm like, I have to get these completed or whatever. I'm so glad that every step along the way, it's always like, this is how far you are. Don't worry. Like we've got it tracked for you. So, because I couldn't imagine trying to do, especially like this, where I'm looking again, they're asking me to do a specific thing 100 times. The least you could do for me is at least let me know where I am in that process. Because if I do 50 and I'm just like, okay, I just, need a break from this, then I know that like, hey, I'm at 50, I can come back to that or try to progress maybe a little bit, see how I'm doing, and then be like, oh, I only did it 10 more times, so I'm not really using it. I need to like use it a little bit more, like pepper it into my gameplay. That's how I'd probably look at it. But yeah, if you're going to ask like, hey, we need you to do 200 of this, like, put in that tracker.
It gets even worse when you get into some other like psycho games that I've done. Like, let's say Final Fantasy 14 to do 1,000 fates. What's nice about the PS5 version is they put all those in, so exactly how many you've done, which is great. But the PS4 version, those fates, dude, that's the only thing. That and a couple fish are the only things now keeping me from the platinum in Final Fantasy 14.
Don't worry, we'll get that for you in a few weeks.
1,000 fates, dude. Let's do it.
It's coming.
The last thing I want to talk about with this game is the collectible grind. You said that you had fun, finding everything. Did you find all 256 collectibles? No. Like I had to.
Well, again, I'm probably about halfway through this game right now.
And let me rephrase that. Are you going to try to find all 256 collectibles?
No way. But here's the thing. I do want all the lightsabers. Like, I do want the lightsabers, so I think it's going to be one of those things. What about the ponchos, dude? You don't want all his ponchos? Well, here's the thing. This is one thing I haven't, and this is a personal thing. I think every single character in this game is unappealing to look at. Like, everyone looks weird.
What? I disagree.
Like, I think that Cal is, like, am I Conan O'Brien, like, running around through Star Wars? Like, I don't connect with this character. Like, he kind of looks dopey to me. Like, he wears like these goofy ponchos. Like, I don't care about ponchos. The alien dude that you're traveling with,
Grease? I fucking love Grease, dude.
He's okay. I like his personality. I think personalities shine a little bit more than their character models necessarily.
Greasy Money, baby. He calls himself Greasy Money.
But then the what's her name that travels with you? Like,
Played by Siri Junda, played by Deborah Wilson,
Yeah.
of Mad TV. Her face is very like what's the word I'm looking for? Skeletal.
Yeah.
It starts with a G. What's the word?
Gaunt.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been living on her own for a while, so like I get it.
It's just like her. I think they just need to like pull her face forward a little bit, like on the character model, because it looks like her eyes are kind of like bulging out, and I'm like, do we need to go to the doctor for you, girl? Like, I mean, I know you're kind of like hiding and on the run, but like, you might want to get that looked at. But like, I think the best looking character in this game is the second sister Trilla. I think she looks awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
She's cool. She looks awesome. Her suit is cool. She rules. She's the best looking thing. Like, give me her. Like, I want to play as her. Like, just.
I mean, I think the best looking thing in this game is BD1, but
yes, BD1 is adorable.
Really, really good Forrest Whitaker in this game, played by Forrest Whitaker. Like, you look at it, it's like, oh, that's fucking Forrest Whitaker.
I was shocked that he looked more like himself than he did. I feel in Rogue One. Yeah.
Well, in the Rogue One movie, he's supposed to be like,
he's kind of on his last leg
dusty,
there.
and this is
younger, like not too much younger, but like he hasn't been like blasted up yet.
Actually, that's a good point about when this movie takes place versus when Rogue One takes place, because they're both pre A New Hope. I don't know.
Gotta be. Well, Rogue One is like moments before, right? Like that feels
it's literally 5 seconds before the movie starts.
Right. Where this I feel like this is probably maybe a couple years before.
This is has to be
this takes place 5 years, right? 5 years after.
Do you know that?
I think so. Like I feel
5 years after the Great Jedi Purge. I'm looking up on Wikipedia. So it's 5 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And so there's 20 years between. Okay, so okay. So he is younger. But really quickly, I do want to go over collectible wise. There were 113 Force Echoes, 107 chests, 32 secrets, 45 enemy scans, 10 terrarium seeds, 8 stim canisters, and 19 encrypted logs. That's bringing us to our total of 256 different collectibles. Not the most collectibles I've ever found. I've got games with thousands of collectibles, but that was no small feat. That was a lot of shit to find.
Yeah, I do think again they put a lot of it right in front of you, and
they do. I'd say that a large majority of it was just like right out in the open. It's like, oh, you come in there, oh, there's a chest, or hey, here's a little puzzle. How do you get this chest? There was some shit at the very end, like I said, that was hidden back deep. That's like, I've beaten the game. It's like, well, there was an entire thing on Zepho where, do you remember the part where you go to like basically a beachfront and there's a big busted out old Star Destroyer out in the water?
Yeah.
Did you go into that?
Yeah. I actually spent a lot of time. Area. Yeah, like I spent a lot of time grinding around that area. There's a secret boss fight around there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And like, I will say there's some things that I did feel very like rewarded for finding. Like, anytime I'd find something that actually progressed me, like made my health bigger or my stamina gauge or like my Jedi powers, whatever, that stuff felt great to find because I felt like that stuff was maybe like it always just out of reach, and then once you figure out how to get it, you feel good about it. It makes you feel like, oh yes, I figured this puzzle out or something.
Yeah. I always felt like I love a good puzzle because I love that my favorite part of a puzzle is that moment where it clicks, where you go, I understand. And this game had a lot of good puzzles where it's like, what the fuck? Oh, I get it. And I felt smart and I felt accomplished, and it rewarded me in kind. There was maybe one puzzle in the game where I just like they did not communicate what I was supposed to do, and so what I did was so janky and like fucking weird compared to later I looked it up on what I was supposed to do. Do you remember I think it was on Dathomir when you're in the hidden temple and there's the balls that roll around by wind? There's one where you're on a bottom level and you have to get this ball into the middle, but the wind you can turn it on and off. I guess what they didn't communicate to me is that there was another vent that I just didn't see. that could have pushed it right in front. So I had to sit here and like, okay, if I turn this one on and then stop it immediately and then force pull it onto the, and so I did this like complete workaround when the puzzle really was open this other vent, then open this one, and it'll push it and push it. And so like I'm doing all this weird wacky shit, and it's like, oh, I think it would have been nicer if you had just kind of maybe pointed better. It's like, oh, it's right here, dummy.
Yeah.
But I also overthink things.
Well,
so
you can also use BD1 to, or what is it? BD1, right?
Yeah.
To hit down and then like he'll give you a hint or whatever. But I feel like those hints were.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a hint. There's a hint system.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there might as well not be one, because there is one puzzle where I feel so stupid. This is where I'm gonna feel really stupid, because it's the puzzle where there's a bunch of like magnets and you've got to throw like the fire lanterns around, and there's the giant thing in the middle with the chain.
Yeah,
and there's water. So like, fire isn't going to mix with water. It's going to put the flame out. Yeah. I'm not kidding. It was like 2 hours. Cause I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm not hitting that hint button. Like, that is the biggest offense to me in games, when it's like, do you need a little hint? Do you need us to help you? And it's just like,
you're like, oh, you've died a couple times. Maybe put it down to a different difficulty. That's
the thing, is like, I knew what to do, which was I had to throw a lantern at the vine that was holding the chain together to burn the thing, to let it drop, to open up the path. But the problem was, and like I'm like, okay, there's lanterns on this side, but I can't take them across because I'm in water. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm like running around this structure over and over. I'm finding everything possibly to be found, but I'm just like, I can't figure out how to get this lantern there. And so like I'm trying to force throw it just across the way and hit it. And which I'll say, the force throwing anything in this game is a little finicky. Like, it's like, I wish there was like a reticule or just something that let me kind of know where I'm throwing it, because sometimes it just doesn't throw it the right way. And nothing was working. And it's like, I'm asking BD1, I'm like, finally, like, fuck it, I just need to know. And then I'm like, all right, BD1, tell me. And it's like, well, there's a chain, and you need to throw a lantern at it. And I'm like, great. Like, all right. And then like you'd hit it again. It's like, we need to move that lantern to the other side, but how? And it's like, I know, like, just, that's the part I'm having trouble with. And then it like do it again, and it's just like, what if we drop the thing in the middle to break it open? And I'm like, cool, these hints are useless. Like, these are not helping in any way. And then I just looked up a guide.
Yeah, wait. So, okay, for everyone who doesn't, this is on Kashyyyk, by the way. I remember this puzzle. I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember the solution. What was the solution?
So that was, they're introducing magnets to you. And it's like you just turn on a switch and there's
and it pulls it around it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But there's one right in that room, which it's just a little stand, and I just never looked at it again, because you use it once to open up a doorway that lets you kind of like continue deeper until you have to come back into this room to get the path to leave it. And that is what I forgot that there is a magnet in that room that I could just turn it on, jump over to the other side, throw the lantern at it, and then it gets stuck on the wall there, so that I can now be on that side with a lantern and throw it at the thing to burn it. And that was what was killing me, because I was like, okay, like I've got these, if I only had a magnet. But it's like, there's just that one little stand that I just never thought about. And I was like, okay, I feel really stupid, because the answer was right in front of me the whole time. I just wish that BD1 would have been like, oh yeah, hey, there's this magnet right there. You could do that. And it'd be like, oh yeah, duh. Like that's why there are magnets in this room. But yeah, that was my like only one thing. I was like, I love that it has a hint system, but like the hint system is completely useless. Because then later on throughout the game, I was just like, I wonder, like, I know what the solution is here, but what is the hint? And then it would be like, oh, you gotta, get past that stormtrooper. I'm like, okay, like thanks, game.
No,
like,
all right, EA. If you're gonna do a hint system, doing better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we wrap this game up, I'd be hard pressed to not talk about the ending.
Yes. Oh God.
If we're talking moments, and this is one of the coolest moments in a video game of that year.
Yes.
The end of this game, your whole game is against the ninth sister or the second sister. Which one is it?
One of the sister Trilla.
The second sister, who is basically a Padawan who wasn't killed in Order 66, and the Empire takes him in and makes them evil Jedis that work to help kill all the Jedis that are still left. And basically, they're just little Sith soldiers. And you have this big battle with her. You have this heartfelt moment where Deborah Wilson's character, who was her master or whatever, is like, I can save you from the dark side, whatever. You have this big fight, and then you're like, maybe it's all good. Maybe we can turn her to our side. And then all of a sudden, just in the back, you hear, oh, oh. And she fucking freezes. Her eyes go wide. You see red behind her, and you just hear her say, avenge us. And she's cut the fuck down by Darth Vader.
None other. This scene is so fucking good. Like,
it's so good.
This is what it must have felt like in those last moments of Rogue One, because you're just like, oh, shit.
Like, yeah, Cal Kestis, who has no idea who this is, because why would he?
Right.
He goes, who's that? And Deborah Wilson's character goes, trouble. You know, it's just like, fucking get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
She tries to run at him to take him out, and he literally just hand waves her into a pit of lava. He, like, not even thinking about it, just does, and she just goes around. So now you're in a fight, and you're in a boss fight with Darth Vader, but he doesn't have a health bar. The screen just says run.
Yeah, it is like that again. What I keep talking about is so cool about this game is it makes you feel powerful till one moment where it strips everything away from you because you were like, I'm not this powerful. Like, and it's just go. Like, you know where your place is right then in that moment, and it is get the hell out of here.
You can try to fight him. You will immediately die. You will immediately die. So then, no, it's just you have to run. And then it's a puzzle of how do I get away while everything around me is breaking because he's force pulling everything. And if you turn around to look, you're running at top speed and he's just fucking walking.
He's just walking at you just like, oh, it is a hunter about to pick his prey. Like, yeah,
it's such a great moment. Okay, well,
and again, it is a classic way to end a Metroidvania. Escape. Yep. That's it.
Escape. That's it. Then the game ends. I won't really go into that. That's fine. That's the game. You know, when it comes to trophy wise, like I said, this being an EA game, usually you'd think it would be a lot harder. EA usually sucks at trophies, but they made this game a great single player game, which doesn't come out of EA and was relatively, like I said, a little collectible grindy, but for the most part was good with their trophies. What I'd like to do now, and what I think we're going to do every episode, is we're going to rate this game, and we're going to rate it. You're going to rate this game as how much, like, just a normal
fun.
How much fun you had, and I'm going to rate it as a trophy hunter on a 0 to 10 scale of, is this, you know, how's the platinum, how's the trophy? So go, you know, 0 to 10. Do we want to do just whole numbers, or are we doing halves? Let's do halves.
Let's do. I think halves are safe. I think that.
No quarters or any of this shit.
Right. I think this is a safe, like, 8 for me. I think this is a solid 8. I think this is something that is worth your time seeking out, whether, you know, if you play it, if you just enjoy it, like, enjoy however way you can enjoy video game, enjoy this game. Like, I don't think it's necessarily, like, hard or anything. There are difficulties that you could use to, you know, bounce around with. And that's another great thing is you can change the difficulty at any time. So, you know, pick yours. It's fun, tells a great story, even though, like, you know, you can't skip any of the cutscenes. But yeah, it is a fun game.
But you shouldn't, because they're good cutscenes.
Yeah, if it's your first time playing, definitely don't skip the cutscenes because it is a fun story. If this is your, like, I'm pretty sure there's a new game plus where you can. Okay, because I was gonna say, like, if that is the case, like, if it's the case of, like, you have to watch every cutscene in multiple playthroughs, I don't know if I would replay it, because that is a big point for me where it's just like, I get the story, I enjoy the story, I think it's a great story, I just kind of want to keep playing. But yeah, if it lets you skip in subsequent playthroughs, then fucking I would maybe even do it. Like, this game is really fun, and I don't think it's anything that will, like, make you throw a controller or get upset. It's just solid fun the whole way through. So 8, solid 8 for me.
8. Okay, so let's talk about this on a trophy aspect. Number 1, it does have a platinum. So that's good. Sometimes you'll get these big games and they won't have platinums. That's very annoying. We got 3 gold trophies, 11 silvers, 25 bronzes for a total of 1,275 points. There's a point system for trophies if you didn't know. Also, a cool thing about this game, if you get on PS4, it does have a free upgrade to PS5, and it does have an auto pop. You can get 2 platinums for the price of 1 if you play it on PS4. Also, if you're crazy like me, you can also be currently trying to find a European physical copy for a 3rd platinum, because they are region stacking. So you could platinum this game 3 times if you wanted to. None of the trophies are hard. It does have the option if you want to play it on the easiest difficulty and still get all the trophies. I didn't do that because it came out I did want to have fun with it, but if you're just trying to get the platinum, which by the way has a cool picture and a cool name, A New Hope, that's important to some people. I would give this game as a game to play for trophies. It's fun. It's not too challenging, but still, great. It's a little heavy on the collectibles, so it does take some grinding time. And some of them are a little hard, but easy to find with a guide. I'd give this game an 8.5.
Oh yeah.
What a great fucking game.
It is. It is fun to play. Like I really enjoy it. And that's where I'm kind of like, I might just go on ahead and do everything because like I was saying, it puts everything pretty much in front of you. Sure, there's gonna be a couple things to grind for, but no, pretty solid over.
It doesn't hide anything too hard. If you miss something, the most annoying thing about it is the backtracking. If you do miss something, you have to go back to a planet. You have to get there and get back, and there's no fast travel. So, whatever. It's still a great game. Should you play it? Yes, you should.
Oh,
should
100%.
you platinum it? I think you should platinum it.
Yeah, I don't think it's asking too much. Go for it. Like, make this your first platinum if you need to.
Well, there you go. That's our first game in the book. Really quickly before we end, let's do what's going to be our ending bit, which is what's coming out within either between now and the next time that we record, or now and the next month. Is there anything coming out in August, let's say, that you're looking forward to? I'm a sports person. I like sports. I'm actually pretty excited for Madden 22. That comes out next month. I will probably check that out. But honestly, Ghost of Tsushima is getting a director's cut, and I'm holding off on that game because I feel like especially now that it's coming to PS5, I'm like, that might be one of my PS5 games, like that I buy early, or whenever I end up getting one, and then that might be the first thing I play on PS5 because I've heard it's great, heard it's fantastic, but I think that great game.
Excited for it to come out next month. I don't know if I'll play it next month, but it is definitely on the radar. But out of that, I think that's mostly what I'm looking at in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we got Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, which is going to be on PS4 and PS5. Unsure what that means for Platinums. Definitely PS5 Platinum. We don't know if the Director's Cut is just going to be DLC for PS4. If it is, that's fine. I'll do the new stuff to get those trophies and then move on to playing the full game again on PS5. We've also got, I believe it's next month or it's early in September, Director's Cut of Death Stranding, which... that is definitely a show we could do a whole fucking episode on. I love that game, but that is a long ass platinum. Also, next month, Hades on PS4. I'm very looking forward to that. I've heard so much about how everyone said Hades was one of the best. I've never played it because it wasn't on PlayStation.
Guys, then whenever you get to that, we are talking Hades because I played the hell out of that. I really like it. Yeah, can't wait to talk to that one. That one's great. Can't wait for you to play it.
Once I've platinumed it, there you go.
Yeah, fantastic.
Other than that, I think those three would be the big three I'm looking forward towards next month. There's probably other little things that'll come out that'll be interesting. And before the start of next episode, we'll do a little wrap up of what you and I have been playing since the last time we talked. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. This has been the first episode of I Have More Trophies Than You. If you want to follow us, should we start a Twitter for this? Do you think it matters?
Hey guys, guess what? You can follow us on Twitter at More Trophies Podcast.
Oh, did you already start it one?
I already got it for us.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, cool.
It's there.
More Trophies Podcast.
I believe that's what it is.
I'm gonna look it up right now. More Trophies. This is a big name podcast.
Yeah. Oh, More Trophies Pod. That's what it is.
More Trophies Pod.
You can only have 15 characters.
There's no such thing as. Oh, there it is. More Trophies Pod. Boom. Why is it only following you and not me?
Because I hadn't put anything on it yet. So it's just like, yeah, guys, follow just the one.
No.
Also, look at where we are located. That is a very secret location.
No. Why would you? All right. You need to. No, you got to change that. That for purposes of keeping this, archived.
Are you telling me they're not going to let us broadcast this from North Korea?
It is listed that we are coming out of North Korea. Chris will be changing that.
Yeah, that'll change. Give me a good suggestion.
How about just America? I don't know. The PSN. Does it have to be a real location?
I don't think so. I think you can put anything you want.
Just put the PSN servers.
The PSN servers.
Or, tweet at us where you think we should be located from.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter now at More Trophies Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at dr_Ryan.
And you can follow me at Burezu in Japan. That's Burezu in Japan. INJAPAN.
You can also follow us both on Twitch, and I think the same exact things.
Actually, mine's different. Mine's
yours,
just Blaze TK. It's a lot easier to find on Twitch.
So you can follow me at twitch.tv/dr_Ryan. You can follow Chris at twitch.tv/BlazeTK. And if you want, you can look up my trophies at any time on PSN profiles. My gamer tag, or I'm sorry, my PSN name, we're not using gamer tags, is Dr. Pepper, the first doctor spelled out, the second one. So DOCTORDRPEPPER. Dr. Pepper. What a great name.
And you can look at mine in Shame and Despair at Kawaii Blaze.
You have like 0 platinum trophies.
One day I will have a platinum of my own.
I would say get the one in Star Wars fucking Jedi Fallen Order, but you're playing it on Xbox, which is, I feel, as a betrayal.
I had to play it on Xbox, right?
You didn't have to. Don't have to do anything. Thank you guys so much. This has been great. I can't wait for the next one. I really hope this takes off. I hope you guys are having fun. The goal, like I said, is just for me and Chris to have great conversations with ourselves and eventually with friends about games and the way we play them. So, hey, do us a favor. Tell a friend to listen. Get this going around. And let's just have fun. But always, at the end of the day, remember the most important thing we could tell you. And do you know what that is, Chris?
Is it to go buy an Xbox One?
Okay, cut this part out. But always remember the most important thing. And do you know what that is, Chris?
No, what is it?
I have more trophies than you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the first episode. This right here is a pre-recorded message that is going to continue in all the further episodes. It just won't have this little caveat at the beginning that has all of our ats and follows and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to follow us on Twitter or on Twitch, here's everything in a very calm, collected message, just in case we forget in another episode or you just need it one more time. Be sure to follow us. Thank you for everything. Please send us comments, questions, what games you want to see us play, all that kind of stuff. Twitter is where you can find us. Discord also works. Whatever you need to do, get a hold of us. Let us know what you want to hear about on the show. And hey, thanks again. The pre-recorded message should start now. Hey, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you'd like to send us questions, gaming memories, comments, or if you just want to know when the next episode is going to drop, then you can follow us on Twitter at More Trophies Pod. That's MORETROPHIESPOD. That's More Trophies Pod. Also, be sure to follow Ryan at Dr_Ryan on Twitter. You can also keep up to date with his Monday night Twitch streams office hours at twitch.tv/Dr_Ryan. That's DR_RYAN. Dr_Ryan on both Twitch and Twitter. And follow Chris on Twitter at Burezu in Japan. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't worry, I'm going to spell it out for you right now. That's BUREZUINJAPAN. That's all one word, Burezu in Japan on Twitter. And when they are streaming, you can check them out at twitch.tv/BlazeTK. That's BLAZE, the letter T, the letter K on Twitch. Blaze TK. Thank you again so much, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.